Biker Billy cooks with fire.
All right, don't get excited. There's still some food left for you. Yes, you didn't get here too late. It's time for another one of those wonderful belly stretching adventures. Yes, if you can't be out cruising around on your bike, you might as well be exercising your palate. Yes, I've got a wonderful adventure for your tongue today. So remember, what you gotta do is grab some quick salsa recipe that you made yourself, just the way I told you how, in a big bag of chips. Sit back, relax. When we come back, we're gonna cook with fire. All right! The recipe from this program is in Biker Billy's Freeway-a-Fire cookbook, available at bikerbilly.com. All right, here we are. We're all ready. We're gonna do some good cooking tonight. We're gonna start off with a pepper. Yes, listen to this. That ain't no baby's rattle. That is a wonderful, beautiful anjo pepper. Check this out. It's nice and flexible and pliable. We're gonna ditch those seeds. Yes, these are not suitable for your garden, by the way. They may look beautiful, but you got to use fresh, vital seeds. Isn't that a beautiful piece of pepper? Let's get rid of the seeds. All right, here we go. Now, take yourself a bowl. Tear your pepper into a couple of decent-sized pieces, and you want to have prepared now, waiting for you, some nice water that just boiled a minute ago. We're going to take a quarter cup of that. We're going to cover up those peppers just to get them covered, and we're going to set them aside. All right. Now, we're going to work with the miracle of flour and water and a special ingredient. Yes, yeast, because we're making something outrageous. We're making pizza. All right. Now, check it out. I got two types of yeast here, and I want to point out I got a very full cup of water. This water is about 115, 120 degrees in temperature. Use a thermometer or know the temperature that comes out of your hot water heater. Now, if the temperature's not right, the yeast will either die if it's too hot, or it won't become alive if it's too cool. I got two kinds of yeast here I want to talk to you about. I got regular yeast and I got quick yeast, rapid rise yeast. I use the quick stuff. The other stuff takes too long. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our food processor. We're going to dump our 1 cup of warm water. Yes, the correct temperature, and check the package of your yeast for the precise temperature you're going to use. 1 packet of yeast. Itsy bitsy packet of yeast. Nice in there. In there goes the yeast. And here we go. Spin the blades a couple of times. Now, the yeast is beginning to come alive, and we're gonna feed it. Yes, sirree, Bob. We got flour, basic white flour. And by the way, you ought to take a look. The yeast is nice and thoroughly dissolved. The water's kind of beige colored. It smells like it's gonna be bread, but it's pizza dough. So we'll put in 1 cup of flour and spin the blade. Now, you can do this by hand, but we're using the food processor because I'm lazy. All right, now, another cup of flour. And I got to point out, this is your general all-purpose flour. Now, it's beginning to form a dough, but it's real sticky. Check this out. This is really sticky stuff. So, we're going to take our next cup of flour, but we're not going to put the whole thing in at once. See, I put about half of it in there. And we're going to spin the blades. Now, let's take a look down in here. We'll see that it's beginning to form a ball of dough. And in this case, it's breaking up a little bit. So we may be close to the right amount. You can never tell one batch of flour versus another when enough is enough or when enough is too much. So, don't dump that whole 3rd cup in there all at once, because it may get too dry, and then you're going to be adding little bits of water, and it's got to be the same temperature. Now, isn't this fun? The best part, You ain't got to listen to me. You listen to that food processor. Now, I ran it around again. It's still a little sticky, so I'm just going to get it on. Get off of my finger. Would you leave me alone? Jeez. It's a very over-friendly dough. We'll take and we'll just dust a little more flour in here. This is judgment time, kiddies. Yes, don't put too much in. You gotta use your fingers and check it out, but don't put your fingers in a running food processor. I should also point out that you should check the manufacturer's instructions on your food processor and make sure that it is capable of making dough, of making bread dough. This is still a little sticky, so in we go with a little more flour. And one more time, and I think we're gonna have it. All right. Yeah, get in there. Well, let me tell you something. If you were doing this by hand, you would be tired, which is why they make you have dough rest. Now, let's check it out. We'll pull it. Boy, still a little sticky. So what we're going to do is we've taken it out of the food processor and check it out. Most of it came out nice and clean. You can see there's maybe just a little dough ball in there. You know, that's like that little animated guy, a dough ball. Now, take it out on the board. You're going to beat this stuff up a little bit. You know, if you had a bad day at work and they really gave you a hard time, you just get in there and beat them. Hi. So, now, do not take your aggressions out in traffic. Take it out on a pizza dough. So if it's still a little sticky and it's sticking to the board, see, it was sticking to the board there a little bit, you just work a little more flour into it. You can do this all the way in the food processor. I like to get it out. Now, this stuff is warm. It feels wonderful. It is fantastic. Now, nicely kneaded. Grab yourself a bowl. The bowl has got to be twice the size, at least, of the ball of dough. Take yourself some extra virgin olive oil. You can use any kind of oil, but I think the extra virgin does it best. Throw some in there, a nice generous amount. Don't be shy. Get your fingers in there. Get them all oily up. Oil up the whole bowl. Take the ball there of dough. Roll it around so it's covered with it. And cover this with some aluminum foil, some saran wrap. Try aluminum foil. Put it in a warm place, like a pilot-lit oven, and let it sit sealed for 15-20 minutes until it doubles in volume. When we come back, this will be risen and we're gonna cook with fire. All right! The recipe from this program is in Biker Billy's Freeway-a-Fire cookbook, available at bikerbilly.com. All right, here we go. I got my knife and I'm ready. We're gonna start cooking. So, we're making pizza. Now, what goes in pizza, Mike?
Cheese.
And what else?
Sauce.
Sauce! Yes, we're gonna make a sauce, but it's like no other sauce you've ever tasted. That's right. What are we gonna start with? We're gonna grab our big saute pan. We got ourselves some wonderful extra virgin olive oil. Into the saute pan will go 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, and we're gonna turn the heat up high and let that start to get simmery. Now, yes, we don't want to have a red light situation where all of a sudden we get fire. Whoosh! We're gonna cook. Now, what will we put in this pan? Let me see. Onions! All right, onions! Grab yourself a nice medium onion. Slice that baby. Skin its little skin off, yes, because you don't want that dry onion skin. Boy, I'll tell you, the other day I went riding through this part of, I guess it's northern Jersey, southern New York. It's got onion fields. You should see the thick, black, beautiful earth. Well, in the summertime when it's harvest season, before you get into these wonderful valleys, you can smell the onions, yes, just like you can sit at home right now, and I bet you can smell those onions. I know Mike smells them. Do you, Mike?
Yes.
All right, yes. Well, out on the bike, riding around, you can smell the onions now. Ooh, I love that smell. So that's a medium onion. That's a quarter cup of extra virgin olive oil. And what else should... Oh, boy, I know what we're going to put in. Check this out. If you were from the old country, this is the way you'd have them down in your canning cellar. But actually, this is not how I got them. I bought them in a big can. What are they? They're wonderful roasted peppers. Absolutely beautiful roasted peppers. And this is empty because you don't eat the can. All right, now, here we go. What are we going to do? We're going to take a 1 cup measure. We're going to take a big old fork. You buy a big can of these because these babies are tasty. And I got to tell you something. My father-in-law, Phil, turned me on to these things years and years ago. Thank you, Phil. These are the most delicious, succulent. Now, they're not hot. They're wonderful, sweet peppers. They're delicious. And you can see they've been roasted and the skins have been peeled off. So all you get is a delicious, tender flesh. And the flavor, the aroma, it's outrageous. So get yourself a well-packed cup of those. Shake up your onions and your olive oil and chuck them in there. All right, now, you gotta have some kind of tomatoes in a sauce. So what are we gonna do? I got some beautiful, yes, beautiful sun-dried tomatoes packed in olive oil. Now, I want to point out that you're not going to use the olive oil, although you could, after you've cooked a bunch with this, you could use the olive oil. Leave the oil in that jar because you want these babies, look at the oil just drip off of those, delicious herbs, garlic, You could use the dried ones, but you'd have to, you know, the ones that just come dry, you'd have to rehydrate them. This way, they're nice and tender, and since we're using the olive oil anyway, it's a perfect combination. Now, we got a nice half-cup measure of those, and guess what? In the pan they go! All right, there they go! Now, make sure that when you store these babies and buy big size, that the oil stays on top of them so that they don't dry out. Now, what else are we got? Oh, here we go. We got our beautiful anjo pepper. Wonderful, delicious anjo pepper. We're just going to take and we're going to drop that baby in there, juice and all, and get this stuff sauteing and a simmering. Yes, this is going to make an outrageous. Now look at that. That look like any kind of pizza sauce you ever seen before, Mike?
No.
Well, it ain't. It's going to be outrageous. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to add some seasonings to this. We're going to add some parsley, some oregano, some salt, and some pepper. But we're going to wait a little while this simmers. So, let's see. Shall we wait or shall we not? All right, we're going to start. We're going to grab over here, and I got to look at my notes. I can't fool you. What did I put in here? Oh, my God. I almost got confused. We're going to take ourselves half a teaspoon of black pepper. Yes, sprinkle that black pepper in there. We are going to take ourselves a nice half a teaspoon of salt. You can use more salt if you want. And here we go. Where did I put it? There it is, my wonderful teaspoon measure. A teaspoon of oregano. And a big old tablespoon of parsley. Now, geez, I know I'm forgetting something. What am I forgetting? The garlic! All right! I knew I forgot something. Yes, boy, man, you know, I go through one of these big 25-ounce jars of garlic so fast you wouldn't believe it. So, can I get down in there with that tablespoon? There is one. That enough garlic?
No.
No! And there's two. And the recipe called for 2, so that means I'm going to use 3. All right, now, simmer, saute. You don't want to fry and burn this stuff, but you want to simmer and saute it till the onions are beautifully tender. So while I saute away, don't go away, sit back, relax. When we come back, we're going to cook with fire. All right! The recipe from this program is in Biker Billy's Freeway-a-Fire cookbook, available at bikerbilly.com. All right. Oh, if you could smell the aroma, check this out. Isn't it just gorgeous? Those wonderful onions have cooked down until they're nice and tender. We're going to shut the heat down, and we're going to let that cool off before we deal with it more. Now, check it out. Our dough is risen. You're going to want to let it rise up once. Take it out and do this, and you're going to do this twice. You're going to want to beat that dough down. Yes, get your frustrations out on it. This dough is actually risen once and been beaten down, and this is its second time. Do it twice. Don't do it more than that, because you want to give it a chance to rise in the pizza. Now, we'll set that aside for 1 second. Most of you do not have a brick oven to bake your pizza in. So what you got to do is use a pizza pan. There are other ways of doing it, but this is the easiest way of doing it. Take your pan, put a little bit of that extra virgin olive oil on it. Take and smear it around. Yeah, get your fingers all greased up, kiddies. Get that olive oil all around that pan. And set the pan aside. All right. Now, where am I going to set it? I'll set it over here. Take your dough, and remember, you're trying to make the dough the size of the pan. So, we're going to just start slapping it back and forth with our hands, getting it going there. No, I'm not going to fling it in the air. Yes, sirree, Bob. I'm not going to throw it in the air because you don't have to. So, what you do is you use the enforcer. Yes, the rolling pin. Now, we get that dough. You're going to flip it around a couple of times. You want to roll it out to it is approximately, and do keep flipping it because that stretches it. Roll it out to it. Oh, baby, sliding around. Yes, and as you pick it up, it stretches. So what you want to do is grab your pan when your dough is about the right size. Get it on that pan. Take it out there and use your fingers. Don't worry about this looking perfectly round. You're not a pizzeria. You're not trying to sell it to anybody. You're just going to eat it. So you get it spread around, and you try to have a nice little ridge there. Don't squeeze the ridge down too much because you want that to rise and be nice and fluffy. If you get any little holes, just pinch them closed. Now, let that set for a second. Take your food processor. Open her up. Take this wonderful, delicious concoction. This stuff is absolutely fabulous. This mix will make enough sauce to do 2 pizzas or 2 pizza doughs on the size of portion that we made there. You could use it all up in one. Boy, don't want to miss one of those sun-dried tomatoes. Get it in there, and we're going to puree it. Here we go. Now, I add about 1/8 of a cup of water to make that puree a little better and to thin it down a little bit. It's your choice. Leave it chunky, puree it real thin, add a lot of liquid, make it thin if you like thin sauce. Don't add any liquid if you like the thick sauce. So, check it out. That ain't like no tomato sauce you ever done seen. Now, over here, I got me a ladle. So we're going to take, and it's just like in the pizzeria. All right, here we go. Now, just get yourself some of that sauce on there. Baby. I learned this little trick hanging out at the pizzerias with my friends there. You just sort of spin it around. Remember, don't add too much into the middle because it's all going to go there on its own anyway. Don't put it up out on those edges. Get that saucer motivated around. Get a nice layer of sauce again. Check it out. That's enough sauce for most people. And there's enough in there to make another one. So, boy. Now, what else is going on this pizza? Mike, what else should I... Cheese, all right! Mozzarella. So, I use somewhere between 1 pound and 1.5 pounds, depending on I want a cheese, and extra cheese. What you want to do is you want to put plenty of good old shredded mozzarella. Boy. Look at that. Yes, sirree, Bob. Nice shredded mozzarella. Just load that stuff on there. Put as much cheese as you want. Now, you should have gotten your oven hot, kiddies. You want a nice hot oven. Oh, I'd say maybe 500 degrees. Have it hot for about 1/2 hour before you're going to stick that pizza in the oven. Yes, get that cheese on there. Ooh, boy, don't leave any excess cheese anywhere but on the pizza. Now, Get that oven nice and hot. What you're going to do is you're going to take it and you're going to put it in the magic oven just like that. 500 degrees, bake it. When you come back, it's going to be done. And when you come back, we'll eat it. All right!
The recipe from this program is in Biker Billy's Freeway-a-Fire cookbook, available at bikerbilly.com.
Oh boy, it's a baking down there in the magic oven. Now, what I should have told you before is you get the dough out, you put the sauce in it, throw in that 500 degree oven for 5 minutes. Take it out, then put the cheese on, throw it in for up to 10 minutes until it comes out looking like this. All right, in that side, out the other. There is a beautiful pizza. Absolutely fantastic. Now, all right, take a look at the cutting board. This is outrageous. Yes, it's a beautiful pie. And we're just gonna slice it up. Oh boy, there ain't nothing like a beautiful pizza pie. That's right. We're gonna cut out one slice for you and the rest for me. Isn't it beautiful? Nice stringy cheese. Check it out. This stuff is outrageous. Now, that's a pizza. If you want the recipe, check this out. All right.
The recipe from this program is in Biker Billy's Freeway-a-Fire cookbook, available at bikerbilly.com.
Oh boy, yes. You can make your own pizza like no other pizza you've ever had before. You can adjust the spices. You can use various different cheeses. It's real easy. Don't be afraid because it's dough with yeast and all that stuff. It ain't bad. It's a lot of fun and it's an adventure for your palate. Now, get yourself a motorcycle. Come on out. Have a lot of fun. Ride around. Work up a big appetite because when you come home and get into your kitchen and start cooking, you're going to make something outrageous like that's a pizza. So remember the 3 most important things. Eat hot. Ride safe. And what do we do, Mike?
Cook with fire!
All right! Oh, boy!
This has been an All Rights production, copyright 1994 and 2017.
All right!
The recipe from this program is in Biker Billy's Freeway-a-Fire cookbook, available at bikerbilly.com.